First, you have to understand what the series includes, and the full combo package includes Blast the Ball, which is a DVD series which is 2 hours long, devoted solely to kicking and ball flight. Then it includes the Soccer U series, which is a 4-disc series, which is 8 hours long, which is all the other technical skills that a developing player needs. This series is for a pretty broad audience. It's for the parent that wants to help their child learn the technical skills so they can teach their child. It's also for the soccer coach that didn't grow up playing competitive level soccer. I would say 80% of the coaches, the youth coaches we have, didn't play competitive level soccer, and therefore they never got taught these skills. And so they can't teach them if they never got taught. So I think it's for the parent that wants to teach the child. It's for the coach that wants to take some of these small sessions and put them into their training or practice sessions. But it's also for the older soccer player, a middle school player or even high school player. Those players, because it's a hardcore series and technical training, those players will sit down and watch it. A young child will not. But an older advancing player between the ages of, say, 13 to 17 will sit down and watch this and bring it all in and capture it. Why is this series different? Everyone has said to me, and I agree, that this series is different because instead of being just a series of drills or watching players perform skills in a drill session, this series takes every single technical skill that a soccer player needs and breaks it down to its smallest points, even in slow motion. Whether it's learning moves, kicking a ball, receiving, chesting, heading, anything that you want to think about, we break that skill down to its finest points and even show it in slow motion. That's a great question. I get asked all the time, well, what age level is this for? And it's not for an age level. Whether it's a 6, 7, or 8-year-old, or it's a player getting ready to go on to the collegiate level, one of the things that I consistently stress, whether I'm working with an 8-year-old or a collegiate player, I will start at the same place. I want to watch their ball handling. I want to watch their receiving skills. I want to watch all the basic technical skills to see where I need to improve. And let me tell you what, when you go up to the advanced levels, there are a lot of players that have never had classes on 50% of these technical skills. This is not a series. The funny thing about this is not a 30, 60-minute tape that you're going to put in a DVD player and watch and then be done with it and go out and work with it. This is over 10 hours of technical training and science and study of soccer technical skills. This is going to take you a long time to go through this series. You probably have to go through it twice, and it's going to take you a long time to teach it. This is something that you'll use over a 5 or 6 year period. And it's not just that going to be younger players, it's going to go all the way through the high school and even up into the collegiate level. I constantly have parents come up to me and say, well, what can I do to help my child? And I guess the only thing I can say is you get this series and you learn to become a teacher, because training time at the academy level and especially at the rec level is so limited that the parent has to become a skills teacher, I guess you would say. Work with that child in the backyard on the weekends or at nights, go out to the soccer field, and they can, over a period of a year or 2 years, hold little technical training sessions and teach these exact skills to their player and their child. No, we don't really put age limits on this, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example. I like to use the example of karate. How can you have a 7-year-old that is a black belt in karate and a 25-year-old that is a lower brown belt in karate? And the reason being is that when you look at the martial arts, they don't go by age. They allow the individual to learn and excel at their own pace. And it's the same thing in soccer. If a child has already mastered 4 or 5 skills, we'll expose them to more and allow them to grow. Now, that's not going to happen in a group session, and that's why I think every parent who has a soccer player needs to watch this series and be able to expose their child to more and more incremental technical skills. If a player has never been specifically taught the overall mechanics of a skill and visually shown how to correct that, they'll never learn the right way. what will happen is they will just keep doing drills. So we go into a shooting drill or we go into a passing drill. They are just going to simply use the wrong technical skill over and over and over and over, because drills do not teach skills. And I can't stress that enough. Drills just reinforce the skill we already have. We have to go back and we have to break down the technical skill to its finest points, teach them exactly how to do it, then gradually step it up and work it into a game-like setting with drills and repetitive work in small-sided games. There's a simple rule of thumb that I like to use. You can go out to high school level players, middle school level players, and even collegiate players, and you can ask them, did you ever get a specific skills class or specific core training on how to perform X, whether it's slide tackling, whether it's receiving with the body, whether it's the difference between offensive and defensive headers? In other words, did you get a skill class on this raw skill being shown step by step how to do it? And if you ask that and you go through every skill that's out there in soccer, 90% of the players at the advanced levels will say, no, I never received it. I just sort of had to figure it out on my own. And the problem with that is that the majority of the time, they don't perform that skill correctly. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of parents make is they buy coaching DVDs, especially if they are trying to work with their player. And even beginning soccer coaches, it's not so much about the coaching and tactical aspects of it. You've got to learn the technical skills. You have to become the trainer. The technical skill comes first. We move it into a game-like setting, but until you know how to teach it and you get trained on it, you can't pass that on to the students. I think a lot of parents just want to help their children, but they don't know how. And I think they always look to the outside. In other words, they're always looking for that special soccer camp, or they're looking for a better program, or should my child age up? And it's a completely wrong process. Your child is probably, especially if they're in an academy program and if they're at the right age level, they're fine. The problem comes in that, especially in the US, is the limited training time. Soccer players in the US get anywhere from 40 to 150 hours of overall training a year. Now that's if they play spring and fall. Compare that to some of the European and South American countries where they'll do 500, 600 hours a year of training. It's not all technical training, but we just don't have the time. And I think that parents have to become the off-field or off-academy teachers for their children. They have to spend that time and work with these technical skills. And the only way to do this is you have to learn the skill first. You have to learn how to teach it. Once you do that, then you can go teach the child. Without a doubt, the feedback that we get is that this is the best investment that both parents and learning coaches make over their soccer experience and soccer career with their players, because technical skills are long-term. They stay with that player their entire life. Conditioning, you stop conditioning, the child's conditioning in 6 weeks will disappear, but their technical skills, their touch, and their knowledge of these skills and how it works with their body, that stays with them for a lifetime.